Hi everyone, welcome back to the Morgan Homestead. Today I'm going to show you some progress on what's going on around the homestead. We got the garden. I'm going to give you a tour of the garden, show you the progress there, how far we are with that, the update on the greenhouse, and the Broody Hen situation. Also, I'll show you how big our meat chickens are getting. Also, stay tuned towards the end. I'm going to let you know what the status is on when we're going to start the project of building the new log home. So stick around for that. We are able to concentrate on the garden more. Over the last 3-4 days, Sandy and I have been working hard to get our garden planted. So I'm going to give you a little tour of the garden and what we've planted in each row. So in this first row we have 13 broccoli plants that we planted. There are a couple spots down at the end down there that we can add some more. But I think this year, this is all the broccoli we're gonna do. So in the next 2 rows we have cauliflower. Each row we have 14 plants. There's a lot of different things we plan on doing with cauliflower, including canning some of it and freezing some of it. So we wanted to make sure we had enough cauliflower. And at the end of the season, after we harvest, we may choose to take some to the farmer's market in town. In case you're new here, we did put down this woven weed fabric on the whole garden, which really does help keep the weeds out. You know, you're not spending all your time trying to weed the garden. It blocks out the weeds really well. It lets the water go through the fabric. So yeah, it does work very well. In the next 2 rows we have 14 cabbage plants. We have some red cabbage or purple cabbage and some just regular green cabbage in here. Cabbage is one thing that we really like cooked. We may even do some sauerkraut and can it. Yesterday, Sandy planted these green beans. So we have 2 rows of green beans. They're a bush type green bean. I think there's 84 plants in each row. This again is something that we're gonna can. Again, if you're new here, our goal is to try and produce enough food to last us for an entire year. So from the time we harvest it until the next year we harvest the garden again, we want to make sure we have enough to last us the whole year. I mean, we may not need all these, we'll see. This is our first year doing this, so we'll adjust as we go each year to year. And then the next 3 rows here we have peas, sugar daddy peas. We only have about 2 rows planted right now. We have more peas to plant in the 3rd row next to this last one, next to this one here, where we don't have any holes even burned yet for those. Down over here we have a few zucchini plants, 5 zucchini plants. And I think there's a couple different varieties of zucchini in here. Well, we didn't want to go overboard on the zucchini because we're not quite sure what everything we're going to use it for. So we're just giving it a try this year. We do have room to expand this half a row. And then on the other half of this, we have celery. We have tomatillo plants here. Half of this row is tomatillo plants. These first 6 plants. Sandy wants to make some pico de gallo out of the tomatillos and tomatoes. So, and then the second half of this row is dill, something we'll use for canning pickles. And you'll see down the garden farther that we are doing a couple different varieties of cucumbers, some which are for pickling, but I'll get to that when we get down there. This row here is tomatoes. They're all early girl tomatoes except for the very last one, which is a beefsteak. Tomatoes is something that we really like. We like to eat it sliced. She also plans on canning tomatoes, and we may even take some again to the farmer's market. All of this stuff, if we have more than we think we can use within a year, we'll take it to the farmer's market. The next row is tomatoes, a few different varieties of tomatoes, all slicing type tomatoes for slicing, eating fresh, and on salads. And then one more row of tomatoes here, which is all Roma tomatoes. Sandy makes our own spaghetti sauce, and it's delicious. She used to just make it, large batches of it, and blend the tomatoes up that she gets from the store as she makes the spaghetti. This year we're going to can a bunch of it, blend it, can a bunch of it, so that all she has to do is dump it in every batch of spaghetti sauce that she makes. This open area here without the fabric is all potatoes, russet potatoes, and they look to be doing pretty good. I think we have 28 seed potatoes planted. We do eat a lot of potatoes, make our own we're going to be making our own potato chips. So we really want to try to get as many potatoes as we can. This row here is cucumbers. As I was saying before, we're going to do a lot of cucumber canning. We use a lot of these cucumbers also in the salsa that we make. That's a lot of our family is just really like. So we're going to try to make more of that salsa this year. We made a few, I think 20 pints last year, but we go through a lot of it because it is really good. It's kind of a sweeter type salsa with a little bit of spice to it. We add some peppers as well. And then down at the very end of this row starts our pickle cucumbers, and then this next row is all pickling cucumbers that we're going to do some dill pickles with. Now we're getting into the squash. We really like squash, so we plan on doing some canning of squash and some freezing of squash. So I think this row here is mostly acorn squash, and the last couple plants down at the very end are spaghetti squash. My mom and Sandy like spaghetti squash. I'm not a big fan of it, and my dad isn't either, but they wanted to try to grow some this year, so those last three are spaghetti squash. This here is all butternut squash, which is one of our favorites actually. So this next 4 rows, we have 23 stalks of corn planted in each row. Something that we really like is corn, corn on the cob. We're going to be cutting a lot of it off and doing some canning to try to preserve it so that we do have corn for a full year. The very last row we haven't planted, the very last 2 rows we haven't planted yet, and they're going to be sunflower. We've never grown sunflower before. Sandy wanted to try growing sunflower. She likes the look of the sunflower. We may try roasting some of them and eating them, and then even using some of it for chicken feed and bird feed as well. So then we do have around the entire garden, I have this poultry netting, electric poultry netting, to try to keep animals and stuff out of here from getting into the plants and eating the plants. So I'm not completely finished with that yet. I have to tighten it all up, add a gate, and then add the energizer to the fence. So right now it's not charged. But that's it for the garden. We really are hoping that we're successful in this. We'll see throughout the year. It's really hot these last few days. It's mid-90s today or yesterday and today, and then it's supposed to be upper 80s for the next week. So you gotta. One thing I have to still do for the garden is I did get an irrigation system. It's a tape drip system, so I have to run all of that yet. Right now we're just watering by hand, and it does take quite a while to do that. So it'll be nice once I get that drip system in. And all we have to do is turn it on and let it go. But on these hot days, it's really going to help. as it is hot standing out here for hours watering this whole garden by hand. We do have a Broody Hen update. We now have 2 Broody Hens. Salt is laying on eggs now too. So right now we are getting no eggs because of these 2 Broody Hens wanting to lay on everything all the time. As you can see, she's a little irritated with us, all puffed out. But we still do not have any new baby chicks from Louise. Look at all those eggs that she's sitting on. I'm gonna have to take some of them out of there. That's just ridiculous. So I'm gonna do that now. I know I've heard people say, buy baby chicks from the store and put them under her at night, and that'll help get her away from being broody, which might be something we need to do, but we're gonna give it a couple more days. It's been now I think 21 days since she started going broody again, so we're gonna give her a little bit more time. But if nothing hatches, we're gonna probably have to go the route of getting some baby chicks and put it under her, because we really do need to start getting more eggs again. Okay, so I did take all the eggs out of the nesting box where Louise was and candled them. Quite a few of them were fertile, some farther along than others. I did end up keeping 15 of them out of the 24 that were in there. I put 8 back under Louise and 7 under Salt, so we'll see if any of those develop into anything. Stay tuned. We'll have an update on a future video to let you know what's going on with that. So Louise was off of the nest for a little while and allowed me to do that. I ended up closing the chicken door so she couldn't get back in until I was ready for her. So let's see if she's back on the nest now. Yep, there she is. Back in there, back at it. I put fresh bedding in there as well, so maybe she'll be a little more comfortable now too. So now we're gonna go over and check the progress of the greenhouse. Okay, so now we're over at the greenhouse. I just wanted to show you the progress on this. But first, I want to correct a mistake that I made in the last video. I had mentioned that we bought some onion sets this year and that we paid $15 for all those onion sets. That was completely wrong. So I just wanted to correct that. We did not pay $15 for the onion sets. We ended up getting a little over 1.5 pounds of onion sets, and that cost us about $3. So not $15, but $3. So I think it is something that we'll probably continue doing from now on, and I'll show you why. Look at how well these onions are growing. These are the ones that we purchased the onion sets for. They're doing really well. These are the ones we started from seed. As you can see, they're not doing as good. They may do okay. They're going to take a lot longer than the other ones, but I think for the $3 that we paid for those, we're going to continue doing those from now on. We also did plant 2 raised beds that I built this year of beets, 2 different varieties of beets. You can see that they are starting to come up, and here's the other bed. Now let's go into the greenhouse. Well, first let's take a look at the lettuce. The lettuce is doing really well out here in the pots. That one's got kale and some arugula in it. And this one is what's called Little Gem. It's kind of a small little head lettuce, and it's doing really good over there. Now there's the raised bed. So we got some carrots growing in on this side, and then down there is radishes. The radishes are doing really well. And as you can see, our hydroponic peppers are all doing really good. I have not made any progress on the experiment we're doing on the 3 totes with floats in it, so hopefully in the next video I can show you a little more of what we're doing with that. So yeah, all in all, everything is doing pretty good in the garden. So now let's go over and take a look at the Cornish cross meat chickens that we have and see the progress of them. See how well they're growing. All right, so here is the new chicken operation. As you can see, we have our poultry fencing all the way around to kind of protect it from predators, plus the chicken tractors, so they'd have to get through two different things in order to get into the chickens. That poultry fence is energized as well with electric, so makes it a little safer. Let's get in a little closer and we can see the progress and how big they're getting. So as you can see, they're growing pretty good, growing pretty fast. They're pretty content right now. They're liking their new environment out on pasture, just kind of chilling out. It is hot today. It's going to be even hotter. It's going to be close to 90, or it's going to be close to 100 degrees today. It was 97 yesterday, so they're just kind of trying to take it easy and stay cool. So there is some news about the project of building the new log home. We did receive communication from our excavator and septic guy, and he said he's going to be here starting work in about 2 weeks. So we're excited about that. We'll be showing different stages of the project as it goes along, give you some updates on what's going on, show you some of the work that's happening, so stick around for that. I also have a new camera that we're going to be using to give you a different perspective on the homestead. I do need to do a little more practice with that, so before we can actually start using it to shoot footage and stuff. So stick around to see what that is and how well that works. We'll give you an update on Louise, or Wheezy as we like to call her, and Salt, and see if they hatch any new baby chicks. So please subscribe so that you get notified of when those videos come out, so that you don't miss any of that action. Also, give us a thumbs up if you like these videos. Share it on your social media as much as you want. Please follow along with us, learn with us, laugh with us, and most of all, love this way of life, because if we can do it, so can you. Goodbye for now. So the chickens are being smart and trying to stay in the shade as much as possible. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's hot out here. I think I'm gonna go get in the air conditioning for a while. And is that it? Is that it? I don't know. What else? Garden, greenhouse, Broody Hen, meat chickens. So I want to show you the garden and the progress that we have on that. Wow, it's freaking hot out here. It's hot. Yeah. I think I'm gonna move to a different spot. It's into the shade. It's hot. All right, I'm over by the chicken coop now. We're going to show you the Broody Hen, Wheezy, and see what the progress is on that. Man, did I say it's hot? It is freaking hot out here. Anyway, let's go do that. So we're over at the greenhouse now, and wow, it's hot. Man, it's hot out here. So I just wanted to show you some progress on how well our onions are doing. So here's our Cornish cross meat bird. What is it called? So here's our Cornish cross bird. Here's our Cornish cross meat bird. Oh my God. So here's our Cornish cross meat bird operation. Yes. And as always, thank you for watching. And until next time, let's see. Freaking hot out here. It's hot. It's hot. It is freaking hot out here. It's hot. Man, it's hot out here. Oh man, it's hot out here. Whew.